Hey everyone, it's Jocelyn here at Studio U Yoga and Pilates, and I have the lovely Miss Chaya here, and she is going to be my student for today's Pilates Mat class. And today we are going to focus primarily on the core. And for those of you who take my classes at the studio, I'm sure you're not surprised by this. So in Pilates, we don't just consider those abdominal muscles as part of the core. Yes, we'll be working them, of course, but also the deepest layer of our back muscles, such as what are called the multifidus, which run up and down both sides of the spine, so very important for postural stability. We also include those pelvic floor muscles and our deep diaphragm here. So we're going to do a deeper diaphragmatic breath to lend to that power and strength coming from the strong central cage of strength that all of these working parts create. So it's the core that stabilizes the whole body. So it's so important to keep strong, right? Because if we navigate all of our movements from the strong central cage of strength, everything else can be that much stronger, okay? So we're gonna keep everything in alignment, everything moving from this strong cage of strength, and we're really gonna feel that core burden. Hopefully by the end, I hope I can make those abs sore. So we're gonna have, well, everyone's gonna be starting on their back. So I'm gonna have Miss Chaya go to her back here, facing the other way. And then your knees are gonna be bent, your feet are gonna be planted flat on the mat, and then we can just pick those shoulder blades up off the mat here. Just give them a little extra tuck down into the back pocket so you feel the back of those scapula flattening out on the back of the mat here. Arms are pressing long and strong past those hips here. And we're just gonna start simple here. Really important that we maintain safe and strong alignment. So we're gonna move into just some pelvic clocks here, some pelvic tilts and tucks. So Chaya's gonna start moving her pelvis. You're gonna see she's gonna tilt it so much so far forward that the belly kind of pooches, the ribs start to splay. Then she's gonna tuck it under so much so that that low back space actually starts to flatten out. And then she takes another exaggerated tilt forward of the pelvis, that tailbone presses down. And then that exaggerated tuck under, that T-point right here at the solar plexus presses down. So you're just gonna take a few more like this, starting with a larger, more exaggerated movement here, and then gradually, after a couple little tucks and tilts here, you're gonna make the movement a little bit smaller. So we're nestling our way into what's called our neutral position. So that includes the spine and the pelvis. So you're starting to soften. Right there in that low back space, that natural inward curvature, we're not overly arching to where we're pooching out, and we're not overly flattening out. We're just in that little sweet spot right there, right in that low back space. Good, and so the pelvis isn't tilting too much, it's not tucking too much. So we work our way into what's called that neutral position. Then we're gonna start to work into that deep transverse abdominal engagement and using those deep diaphragmatic breaths to assist this. Then we're gonna get into the core burn. Stay patient with me here. So from here, holding that neutral position, right there below the belly button, in that low belly abdominal muscle, you're gonna feel that pulling in and that scoop upwards. So we're not just sucking in the belly, we're finding that low belly belt of ab, and we're pulling it in, lifting it up, and even imagine lifting up through those inner pelvic floor muscles. Remember, those are involved in the strong central cage of strength. So we're gonna take some of those deep diaphragmatic breaths. So as you inhale, you're feeling that core scoop and the backs of the lungs expand. Exhale, scooping deeper, we exhale through the mouth. It's like we're fogging a mirror, big ha breath. We'll take a couple more. Inhale, low navel in and up. And exhale through mouth. Scooping deeper, hold that support. Strong inhale, belly button in and up. And exhale to empty, fog that mirror out. Good, now we're gonna move into some bridge curls. So we're gonna inhale, start to tuck the pelvis so much so we're flattening through the low back. We're gonna curl it up one tiny vertebra at a time, reaching out through those knees for length. Good, adjust as needed. As you exhale, you're gonna curl it down. So still reaching energetically out through the fingertips and through the knees. We're taking these slow so we can get that full back and spine stretch, really flattening through that low back space until that pelvis weighs nice and heavy with the tailbone. Then we repeat. Inhale, we'll tuck the pelvis to flatten. Very slow, curling it up. Imagining it as if we're holding a block between those knees, activating inner hips and thighs. On the exhale, we fog that mirror, ha breath, as we curl it down. So this is for that mobility, that stretch of the spinal column and those multifidus back muscles here. And we're really flattening, we're tucking, then we're relaxing, then we're re-tucking, re-flattening, pushing, peeling off that spine one piece at a time. Good, we'll do one more curl down, reaching out through fingertips, through knees. So everything in the upper body is relaxed. Shoulders anchor, but the neck is nice and relaxed here. Chin is level. So you flatten out, relax. And then we're gonna curl it up one more time. This time we're gonna hold it up. So peeling the vertebrae off. So this should feel good here. And now we're gonna really feel into those inner hips and thighs. So nothing in the pelvis moves. We take an inhale. As we exhale, we're just gonna squeeze those knees together, using those inner hips. Inhale, just a gentle release, we're resisting. Exhale, we're going to squeeze those knees together, almost as if someone's pushing against the knees. You're gonna open those knees again to push against my hands here, that resistance there. And exhale, we're gonna squeeze it in. So if you have a friend with you, have them try pushing out against your knees. So resist that release, and then we're gonna exhale, squeeze it in. We feel in those inner hips. Let's do two more for fun. Inhale, resist the release. We're strong through this core. Exhale, squeeze using core and inner hips. One more. Inhale, resist the release. Exhale, we'll squeeze everything in. Hold it in here for 4, 3, and we're still breathing. 2, 1. Resist the release of the knees, and we'll inhale, lift the hips an inch. We'll exhale, curl it down slow. Hot breath coming from that core. So yes, we're tugging through the pelvis, reaching tailbone and knees out, flattening through that low back space. Once that tailbone reconnects, we're gonna find that neutral, just a tiny arc in the small of the back. We're gonna start to bring the arms up. So the fingertips are in line with the shoulders, just like that. Your palms can flip in towards each other. And again, we can give those shoulder blades a little extra tuck if we feel like they've peeled off the mat a little bit here. And this time we're just gonna hold that neutral space. So without tucking, without flattening, we're just gonna pick the pelvis up straight from here. So we're gonna exhale, pick that pelvis up, try not to flatten, just pick it all the way up into that bridge here. Good, and so we're going to imagine that space here staying open. So then go ahead, take the pelvis right back down. So hinge it, we're pressing that T-point down into the spine, and we're imagining keeping that space open in that low back here. So rather than a curl and a peel, it's just a hinge up and down of the hips. So we're gonna exhale, just pick the hips right up. So try not to tuck and flatten here, just pick that pelvis right up off of the ground. And then as we inhale, we're moving through molasses or honey here, whichever one you want to visualize. So the pelvis is so heavy as it opposes the gravity. It wants to stay up, but gravity pulls it down with the breath. We're going to take a few more like this. So as we exhale, go ahead, pick it up, pushing down away from the feet, from the shoulder blades, and as we inhale, move through that honey as that pelvis weighs so heavy as it lowers down in space. Try not to flatten those imaginary ladybugs that live in the small of the back there. We'll do a few more like this. Exhale to pick it up. So by holding that neutral, rather than that length and mobility that we did in the curl, here we're focusing more on the stability and the strength that's being created through holding these neutral curves in the low back space here. So we're really getting into that posterior chain, that whole back half of the body here. So a little bit into the glutes, we might feel a little engagement there. Definitely getting into the back here. We're increasing the stabilization coming from the shoulders by keeping both shoulders anchored down. Fingertips are reaching away from the shoulders as the shoulders plug down. We have a few more. You feeling in those inner hips and thighs maybe a little, maybe imagining that block here. And we're gonna take a couple more so the hips are weighing heavy in space. We're just being so mindful. Although simple, highly effective if we're moving slow, opposing gravity, making all of that movement come from the core. Even though it's the pelvis that's primarily moving, it's the core that's allowing it to move. And of course, the pelvis is a part of that core. So imagine it all working together, the pelvis, the core, the back, the breath, that deep diaphragm. We're gonna lift it up and hold on this next one. So finding that hinge, we're gonna repeat those squeezes. So we're gonna exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, resist the release. We're holding the hips level. Exhale, squeeze and lift those pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, resist the release a little bit harder now. Exhale, squeeze it in, use inner hips. Inhale, resist the release. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, resist the release. And exhale, we're gonna squeeze in. This time we're gonna do little tiny pulses. Pulse, 2, 3, 4. Low belly, in and up is here. And yes, keep going, almost there. Ribs are closing right here at that T-point. We're pressing it in, keep breathing. One more, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold it, 1 for 4. 3, 2, 1. Resist the release. Inhale, lift the hips an inch. And let's give it a curl down to re-stretch out that low back space. Make it nice and slow. You deserve it here. Reach out through the knees. And we're getting that nice stretch here. So often that low back space is being compressed. Maybe we sit or stand for long periods at work. Yeah, we need that stretch every day. And we're gonna take the arms back down. We're gonna do one more bridge variation. Now, if this is bothering the low back space, you're welcome to do the leg movement with the pelvis planted. But I think Chaya has it here. So she's gonna go ahead and pick the pelvis up, low bellies in and up, supporting that core. We're gonna do some marching. So without letting the pelvis tilt to the side, you're gonna subtly shift your weight over into the right foot. What we're gonna do with the left leg is on an inhale, it's gonna float up into a little tabletop so that shin comes parallel to the floor like we're balancing a glass of water here. I might have to go grab my water bottle. On the exhale, moving through that honey, she's gonna plant it right back down where it was, making sure the hips are still lifting, transferring weight subtly. She's going to inhale, lift it up slow with resistance, balance that water, and exhale, slow opposing gravity. So when it lifts up, it's like gravity's pulling that leg down, oppose it here, and then try to keep it there, but gravity's gonna pull it down, subtly transfer weight, inhale for that lift. Exhale for the lower, we should probably feel those hamstrings here. Let's do a couple more. Inhale to lift. Exhale, slow lower, support through the core. Inhale, slow lift. Exhale, slow lower. Let's inhale, lift the hips an inch. Let's do one more curl. Exhale, curl it down. One piece at a time, reaching out through fingertips, out through the knees, flattening out through that low back space here, tucking and releasing. Good. Just for a moment, you can hug those knees into the chest here. Maybe extend the legs so soles of the feet reach up to the ceiling to stretch out those hamstrings. Whatever you need here. And so, since we kind of woke up the back, the pelvis, we're really gonna get more into the transverse abs, the deepest layers of the core. We're gonna start with the feet planted just as they were, and you have the choice. You can interlock the hands behind the head, or you can keep them long and strong down by your side, whatever you so choose. We're trying to hold the neutral spine here, so natural curve in the low back, low belly in and up. I'm gonna say it a lot. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, abdominal lift up. So we're lifting up through the center of the chest, using that low belly, not the head. Inhale, lowering down with resistance, just letting the head and neck relax their ribs in. Exhale, curl it up, deep scoop, hold that neutral. Inhale, slow, lower down with resistance. Exhale, slow, curl up, scooping out the core. Inhale, slow, lower. One more regular like that. Exhale, curl it up, using low belly, pick up that pelvis, and inhale, lower it down. And this time we'll add a knee to chest lift. So she'll exhale, curl up, and that right knee will pull in towards the chest. Yes, and then inhale, lower it down. Everything's gonna lower that foot plant, and opposite side, exhale, curl it up. Left leg pulls into the chest. Ha, breath there, let it assist you. Inhale with resistance. Pulling away in opposition slowly. Exhale, low belly meets everything in the middle. We're gonna keep alternating legs here. Inhale, that resistance, that opposition. Exhale, right leg pulls in, lift up through the chest here. Inhale, find that oppositional pull. Exhale, pull it in, left leg, low belly in and up, deep scoop, don't pooch here. Inhale, find that resistance. One more each side. Exhale, right leg, pull it up, low belly in and up. And inhale to lower. Since that knee is passing the hip, it's okay if the back flattens out a little bit, just as long as you're holding that strong scoop. Sometimes it's okay to flatten, but never overarch. So this time when she curls up, she's gonna pull the right leg in and she's gonna hold it here, lifting up through the center of the chest. Chin is level, neck is relaxed. She's gonna hold this abdominal curl. Of course, at home, if you need to lower the head, that's okay. She's gonna inhale, use those right toes to just create a light little sprinkle tap onto the floor. So inhale, light tap. Exhale, pull it and maybe lift an inch. Inhale, light little tap. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, light little tap. Exhale, pull it in. One more. Inhale, light little tap. Stay open here. Exhale, pull it in. Now everything can lower with resistance. Are you ready for that second side? Here we go. Here we go. We got something cooking here. Low belly in and up. We're going to curl it up. Pull that opposite leg into the chest, whichever one you didn't just do. And then hold that curl if possible. Inhale. Take that light little toe tap. And of course, this can be done with the upper body down as well. Exhale to lift. And then inhale, slowly take it down. Exhale to curl. Even though it's the leg that's moving, it's coming from that low belly core. Inhale here. Exhale, pull it in. Let's do one more. Inhale, light little tap. And exhale, pull it in. Good. Then everything's going to lower down. The foot plants. The upper body releases. Oh, yeah. Hopefully we feel those core muscles waking up a little bit. And if they haven't, hopefully they definitely will on our hundreds. You know, I love them. Arms reach, I get the giggle. Arms reach, you know this is coming. Arms reach long and strong down by the side. Now you have several options for the leg placement. Let's just start with the feet planted. That's kind of step one here. We're going to curl it up below the shoulders. We're going to start pumping out the arms. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now right leg can lift to a tabletop. 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's switch legs. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, shoulders are down and in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now both legs up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Or if that's too much, go back to the previous step. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Low belly in and up. 3, 4, 5. It's a wide, flat smile down there. Yes, you can. 3, 4, 5. Ribs are in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe extend the right leg. 3 or both. She's going for both. No, just do one or both. Well, however much you need to really feel that core. Keep going. Do we feel it? We should lift up through the center of the chest. Nice and light through the upper body. Strong right here. Almost there. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more inches. 2, 3, 4, 5. Or really 10 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Hold it. Lift up an inch. Take it down.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Maybe stretch those arms back behind your head here. Good. We have some more core coming your way. Yes.
I'm ready.
Oh, she's ready. All right. So interlock the hands behind the head. Lift the legs up into a tabletop. Good. And actually, I'm just kidding. I'm going to have her plant her feet down. I do this a lot anyway. So here's what's going to happen. So you want to start to take some weight off of the balls of the feet. So kind of bringing it a little bit more to the heels. You really have to support through the core, as always. Low belly in and up. So what's going to happen is she's going to take an inhale to prepare, and you too. As you exhale, you're going to curl it up, and both heels are going to slide just on the surface of the ground until the legs are as extended as much as possible. So maybe the legs go all the way straight, no problem. Maybe they just stop halfway. As long as you're holding that strong core support in that neutral position, you're good to go. So if you start splaying, going crazy, pooching with the alignment, then we know you've gone a little bit too far. So what's going to happen as she lowers is the right heel is going to slide in only. So she's just going to slide that right heel in with resistance. And then the left leg is going to join it, and the upper body will lower once that left heel meets the right. So right there, she'll lower. So exhale, we'll take an abdominal curl. Both heels slide out at the same time. So we go back to that first movement. So a modification, if that's a little bit too much, is you can do one leg at a time, just like we did on the way in here. So then inhale, we can come in one leg at a time. If you want to alternate, maybe start with the left, or if you just want to do it the same way every time. I kind of switched it up on her last minute there. So we're resisting that pull here. So we're really not trying to drag the heel. It's just kind of a light little scan above the ground. You feel that core? And we're getting to those hip extensors and flexors as well. Exhale, curl it up. Slide those heels out nice and slow. So even though it's the legs that are moving here, it's all coming from that strong cage of strength. The back is in neutral. The core is scooping. The pelvic floor is lifting. We inhale, breathe into the backs of the lungs, and we'll lower in with one heel first, then the other, nothing in the upper body changes until we're ready to take it down. Let's do that 3 more times. Exhale, curl it up, both legs extend. Breath, deep scoop, allowing you to extend it out so it shouldn't be strenuous if we're really using that core and breath. Now inhale deep into the backs of the lungs. We'll drag it in with resistance, or drag, not so much of a drag, a light little scan here. Light little scan with the opposite leg. Oh, and she's holding that curl. She's really giving you a challenge here. Let's take it down. Let's do that again. Exhale, curl it up, deep scoop, slide it out. So we're moving from the core. If you run out of breath here, maybe pause and take another inhale, and then continue your slide as you exhale. Never hold the breath. And then inhale, it starts to come in. Rather than breathing into the front of the belly, try to breathe into the backs of those lungs so you can hold that strong abdominal scoop. Let's do one more. We can do it. Slow and controlled. Look how slow and controlled she is. Try to follow that. Exhale, breath, deep scoop. Lift through the center of the chest. Both heels are going to slide out. We're opening through the front of the hips, reaching out through the tailbone without flattening or overly tucking. And then we pull it in, really watching that we don't start to arch or tilt through that pelvis. We're pulling it in with that core, using that breath here. Beautiful, look at that control, lovely. And then she can take it down. Ooh, very nice. So let's start to just stay here, bring the arms all the way up overhead. Let's extend both legs back. So what we want to do here is get some activation through the lower half. So we're going to pull those toes back towards us, so we're flexing the feet. And then we're going to reach out through those heels, creating some length and outward energy. So the heels reach out in front of you. As the fingertips reach behind you, those ribs start to close. We're going to do a full roll up here. So you're going to take an inhale at the bottom. Exhale, arms will start to come up, chin to chest. We're rolling it up one vertebra at a time. So imagine peeling off. If you get stuck, you can always bend into the knees and walk up those thighs. So we're lifting up and over, so that T-point right here starts to press in towards the spine. Imagine pulling back kind of right below the shoulder blades, a string pulling you back here. So you'll inhale up top, exhale, you'll tuck through the pelvis, scoop through the core. So just imagine one tiny piece at a time. So I'm walking up her spine so she can really visualize how each individual piece of the spinal column will plant down one vertebra at a time. So then we'll just take it up again here. So exhale, breath and core are working together. You're imagining as if you're pushing the vertebra off of the spine one piece at a time, coming into that spine stretch. And exhale, breath, you're gonna curl it back down. It's okay if you have to move ahead or behind a little bit, that's okay. The fingertips reach forward. That T-point right here pulls into the spine. It's lovely. Hopefully we're feeling it here. Take an inhale at the bottom. And exhale, breath, peeling it up one piece at a time. Toes pull back, spine pushes off. We come into that spine stretch so you're slightly rounded here. Inhale, shoulders down. Exhale, tuck that pelvis. Scoop at that core. Find that strong engagement, fingertips forward. Core and reach out through the heels as you reach up through the fingertips. Good, let's do one more full one. Exhale. Breath and core working together. Again, we get that nice spinal stretch, length and strength. We inhale at the bottom and exhale, stretch out those spinal extensors here, reaching that pelvis out towards the heels, toes back towards the body. We're gonna do a happy here so that we can just sit ourselves up. So we're gonna come up on a roll up and then we're gonna stay seated up. Exhale, breath, coming all the way good. Wonderful. Let's get into those obliques now. So you're going to bend into the knees so that the feet are planting down. Yep, just like that. The arms will reach forward here. And then we're just going to start to take a little twist. So right below the ribs at that solar plexus, we're going to twist to reach those arms outside the right leg. We're going to take an inhale. Exhale, you're going to tuck the pelvis, scoop the core, just like your roll down here. And you're going to roll it halfway back and pause. So you're going to tuck, scoop, round it halfway back, shoulders are down, chin is up. And here we're gonna take abdominal pulses. So we're gonna pulse back, pulse, pulse, pulse. Those feet are planted, they're pressing down into the mat, we're pulsing, pulse, pulse. So So it's like we're trying to finish that roll down, but our core is gonna stop us in place. The core is our brakes here for 4, 3, 2, hold it, 1. Now from here, we're gonna inhale, deeper scoop. Exhale, we're gonna do a roll down, all the way down. So we're rolling down on the right side of the back. So we're and we're going all the way down. We're stretching out that entire right side of the low back, and you can always extend those legs out as well at the bottom if you'd like. And then you're just gonna come through center at the bottom. We will end up rolling up the right side of the back. So on the exhale, you're gonna imagine you're just twisting towards that right leg. So a oblique abdominal lift. And yes, bend into the knees and curl it up the right side and come back into that scoop. You got it here, exhale. Ha, breath, that's a hard one, yes. Now, as we inhale, we're gonna twist to the left now. Very good, exhale, ha, breath. You're gonna tuck that pelvis, scoop out that core, rolling halfway back here. So fingertips forward, T-point in, and here we'll take our pulses. We're pulsing back, back. 2, we make sure those knees are in alignment, a sign that the pelvis is nice and neutral and level here. Both hip bones forward. 4, 5, 4, 3, core your brakes. 2, now hold it. 1, inhale, deeper scoop. Exhale, we're gonna roll down and expand that left side of the back on the mat. If you wanna do that double heel slide, you can, and extend those legs all the way back, or out. And then we're gonna come through center. Ribs close here, we're rolling up the left side. Remember, you can walk up the thighs if you get stuck. So we'll do an oblique twist, ab curl to the left, pushing the vertebra off the spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Use that core ready, yes, coming back through center. Good, and do whatever stretch you need here. If you need to round over the legs or maybe even arch back to stretch out that core, whatever you need to do. We're gonna take a little transition. Well, nothing too drastic here, but we're gonna do a nice fun one here. So make sure you have space behind you and on either side. You probably won't need too much space on the side of you though. We're gonna do rolling like a ball, and you're actually in a pretty much the same shape Chai is already in here. So let's take the hands and just take them underneath the thighs here. And you're gonna start to balance yourself onto your sacrum, that bony structure in the low back. So you're just gonna start to tuck the pelvis, scoop the core round and back, and then you're gonna use that core support to pick the feet up off the mat. So it's like a seated boat, but that's it. So it's like we're in a little seated boat here, but you do have that permission to tuck into that pelvis, scoop into that core and round. Now for those of you at home that you might already be feeling the core going crazy here, and this might be plenty of challenge for you, especially if we're working on balance and centering. And so you're welcome to stay, or we can go into what's called rolling like a ball. So this is nice and fun here. So we're tucking through the pelvis, and it's so important that we maintain this outward curvature here. So we're really tucking, so the spine's rounding outward like a little cat curve here, and that pelvis is tucking under. So you know that T-point we talked about right here, right? We imagine where it would meet the spine and the back body, right below the shoulder blades. So on an inhale, we're gonna rock and roll ourselves back and forth. So we're gonna inhale, rock back below the shoulders, and then exhale to rock right back up. Yes, and that was slow, so that's good. Inhale, rock back, exhale, rock forward. The more we stay rounded, the easier it is. So try not to kind of plop onto your back, more so just try to roll along that space from beneath the shoulder blades right up to that sacrum here. Yes, you feel that core? And we're trying to move the legs as little as possible. So yes, that was good. Let's take 4 more here. So try not to let those legs go crazy. Try not to let the heels pull in towards the glutes, and try not to let the legs straighten. We're taking out that momentum. So try not to kick yourself back. Keep that chin level, the neck relaxed, the head isn't moving here. Just for 2, deeper scoop through the core, even more rounding. Imagine everything curling into this tight little ball of support. Let's do 1 more for fun. Round it back, hold it up, and let's hold it. Breathe. Maybe reach those arms forward to take off some support here, more into the core. Breathe in, breathe out, ha breath. And 1 more inhale, breathe in, maybe round back an inch. And breathe out. Good, go ahead and plant the feet on the mat. Give yourself a second here. Good, how'd that feel?
Whew.
Oh, yes. You feel that core? Yes. All right, we're gonna give those abdominals, not really a break, but we're gonna move more into the posterior chain. Before we go right into that mild back bending, we want to neutralize the spine with a little twist. This one's a nice, simple one, yet effective for the obliques and spinal rotators. And again, to neutralize before we do any drastic transition. So just a nice spinal twist. You can keep the legs crossed just as Chaya is here, or you can even extend the legs out in front of you, just whichever seated position you want to take on here. You're going to grab opposite elbows, and they're going to press down into the shoulders. Now, very important that low belly draws in and up, and every time we go into rotation, we think about deeper scoop and lengthening taller. So we're going to do 3 pulsing twists here. So it's going to go inhale, twist, 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 and then exhale, hot breath, release. And inhale, we'll go left, twist, twist. So 3 sipping inhales, twist, and exhale, release. Let's do 2 more sets. Inhale, we twist and sit. Taller, 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 and exhale, release. Shoulders release down the back. And inhale, we take it left. Low belly in and up, in and up, in and up. And exhale, release. 1 more set. Inhale to twist. So twist. And it's right below the rib cage here. You're trying not to lean back. You're staying upright here. Exhale to release. So it's just a nice upright twist. Upright, upright. And you're not rebounding. You're going deeper into that twist each time. And then go ahead and release. Good, lovely. Let's go ahead and release the arms. And we're going to take a transition into prone. So we're going to go onto the belly here. So you can circle the legs around. You can face any way that you'd like. And this is where we're going to get more into the posterior chain, the back, the glutes, the hamstrings a little bit. So try showing you the sort of both of the variations you could do. So you can be propped up on your forearms just like this. She did it without even knowing. She's that good. So this is a little bit more, if we feel really strong in our back right now, or if this bothers the low back, you can stack the hands on top of each other, just rest the forehead down. I'm just kind of taking out a little bit of that back bend. So just a couple of alignment cues. So pick whichever position, either on your forearms or with the head resting in the hands. And just a couple notes here. So eventually we are going to pick up a foot, but whichever one isn't is pressing down into the mat. So right now I want you to feel both tops of the feet pressing down. You're feeling the hip bones pressed down and the bottom of that pubic bone pressing down. So it's like this little downward facing triangle flattening out onto the mat, and that's going to activate those glutes. And then you're feeling tailbone reach out towards the heels to open up this low back space. And of course you're lifting up through that core, ribs closing. Shoulders down the back, they flatten here. Good. I know that was a lot, but we're going to hold all of that. So we're going to take a nice traditional mat exercise, single leg kick. So remember those 3 sipping inhales that we took on the spine twist? We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to start with that right heel, and we can flex it here. And we're going to take, rather than crazy kicks, we're going to think squeeze. So we're going to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. On the exhale, we're going to point through the foot. And now we're going to lift up that thigh. Oh, that's where we should feel that glute. And then we're going to extend the leg all the way from the central core out, and the leg will plant. You feel that glute, that back a little. Then we'll take it to the left side. So 3 sipping inhales to take 3 little squeezes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, we'll lift the knee and extend all the way out. You don't have to worry so much about what the foot's doing, flexing and pointing, but that can add some precision here. So go ahead and let it lower down. So then we'll take 3 sipping squeezes with the right foot. So we're flexing and squeezing in. So we squeeze, 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 exhale to point, lift, extend, try to keep it lifted here, and then let it rest down. Let's take it to the left. 3 sipping squeezes. Squeeze, 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 exhale, point, lift it up, extend, keep that core strong and scooped out here. Let's do 1 more set. Take it to the right. We inhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, we'll point, lift it up, and extend it out. Lovely. Set it down. And 1 more on the left. We'll inhale to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then exhale, point, lift, extend it out. We should feel the glutes, the hamstrings here. Good. And then before we transition, let's just take it down, stacking the hands and resting the forehead. And we'll just rest here for a moment. Hopefully we felt those hamstrings a little bit. You can always keep playing around with that one if you want to feel a little more. And then from here, we're just going to plant the hands under the shoulders. And then just to reopen that low back space, just take yourself slowly into a little bit of a child's pose here. That low back deserves a nice stretch. So before we transition and do more work here, we're just gonna stretch out, take a couple breaths. Since I'm here, I'll give her a nice good little press here. Take a big inhale. And together, let's exhale, release that pelvis down into the heels. One more inhale. And exhale, pelvis down. Good. And from here, we're gonna build ourselves up into a tabletop. So we're really gonna get all into our deep stabilization muscles. So really full body integration here, especially into those glutes here. We're gonna do some circling hydrants. So shoulders are hugging down the back, flattening out. Low belly is in and up, and we're picking up that T-point here. So when you move your leg, absolutely nothing moves but the leg. So if the leg causes the pelvis and the shoulders and the body to shift, then we know we've moved a little bit too big. So we want to lessen that range if we need to. So we're not shifting the pelvis, we're just subtly shifting weight to the left shin, and that right leg is going to open up to a fire hydrant just out to the side. And then we're going to keep it circling. So it's going to come up, and it's going to go back and around, and back down here. So we're going to go up, back and around, and down. But we're going to keep the pelvis down. So we'll exhale, open, and then take it back and around. So lessen that range if you need. Exhale to open, and we'll go back and around. Let's do one more this way. Exhale to open. And we'll go back and around. Let's take it the other way, trying to keep that shin level here. So take it to the front now. So you'll stay on that right leg. So open it to that hydrant. So same side, same leg, but we're gonna reverse the circle is what I meant to say. So now bring that knee towards you and circle that hydrant forward. That's it. And then back through center. Keeping the space through the side waist open, so you'll exhale, circle it around. Try not to crunch that right hip into the right rib cage. Try to maintain space through both side waists. Two more this way. Try not to shift weight in the hands. Grip down through the 10 fingertips. Press down through the left shin and top of the left foot. You feel that glute here? Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead for fun. Let's open out to the straight hydrant, and we're gonna pulse. Straight. Just with it, you can do it bent or straight. We're gonna pulse that leg up. Straight's gonna be harder, so maybe bend it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Micro bend in the elbows. 3, 2, 1. Good. Close it in. Let's find either a child's pose or a downward dog, maybe some cat-cow, whatever you need in between sides. We feel that booty? All good. I promised her some booty work in there, so I'm trying not to disappoint. Hopefully you felt it at home too. And you can do this side lying position, so maybe or even on the forearms if the wrists are bothering you. So in the future, if you need to modify that a little bit, then go for it, or if you just need to do that here. And so here we're gonna go onto the second side. So yes. This time we're moving the left leg and we're gonna start circling back. So first you'll just open it straight side to that hydrant, and then it will circle back and around. Yes, good, and exhale, circle. Good, and so both hip bones stay down. We're not opening it out to the side. We're maintaining that space between both side bodies here. Low belly in and up, and both shoulders hug the back. We can then reverse. Taking it open. So the forward one. Yes, good. I know those circles can roller coaster a bit sometimes. That's okay. As long as we keep moving here, and you're just imagining that thigh circling around that inner pelvic girdle here. So yes, seeing how much you can move without actually moving the bone structure of the pelvis here. Feeling that glute, feeling that core engage. Let's go ahead and open for our pulses, either with that bent hydrant or that straight leg. We pulse up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Just make it harder for 1, and then go ahead, bring it in. Either child's pose, down dog, cat cow, whatever you need in between. If I'm getting woos from Chaya, one of us is doing something right. Hopefully both of us, right? All right, I'm gonna give y'all a second, and the next one we're gonna boost it up a little bit in the energy. So we're gonna do something, a little movement from our plank. So I'm going to invite in plank on the forearms, just since we spent some time in the wrist, that's gonna make it a little more intense. But of course, if you wanna go onto the hands, that's totally fine. So first, we're all gonna set up into a forearm plank, or if you prefer the hands, that's totally okay. If you're doing forearm, it's elbows under those shoulders. If you're on the hands, it's wrists under shoulders. Shoulders hugging back, pushing down away from the forearms as the low belly draws in and up. So nothing here is going to shift in the pelvis or torso. It's all gonna stay stable, and it's just moving that leg within that hip socket here. The pelvic floor isn't going crazy. All right, so I should probably get moving here. All right, so we're going to keep the weight equal through the forearms. As we exhale, we're gonna lift the right leg just a couple inches off the ground so the toes stay down. Perfect. Inhale, we'll do a light little toe tap. And I'll actually have her start on the other side just to make sure you can see. Exhale to lift, and then inhale, take a tap. So let's do 3 more on this side. So we're gonna stay on this side, exhale to lift. As you tap, core lifts higher, move it a little bit slower. So exhale, pick it up. Inhale, core lifts high. Exhale, pick it up. So we get into that glute a little bit, that hamstring, that whole back half of the body, and of course that strong cage of strength. Give it a rest just for a moment here. That's an intense one. Single leg, face down here. So really it's a leg pull down. So we're gonna take it to the other side, low belly in and up. So go ahead and lift and lower. So yes, get into the glutes, that hip extensor in the front a little bit, the hamstrings firing up so we get to stretch through the front of the hip there. Even though the hamstring and glute burning are probably gonna distract you too much to enjoy that stretch here, that's okay. Keep pushing down and away from those forearms. And again, in and up through that low belly core. And let's take 1 or 2 more. Forgot to count 4. Hopefully make sure you're balanced here. And give it a rest. Lovely. Gotta love some plank on the forearms. All right. Whenever you feel ready, there's no rush. We're gonna meet back in that seated position. So we'll sit ourselves up, bring the feet to the tops of the mat. Just playing around with a little bit of a teaser variation to wrap it up here. So you're actually gonna start with the legs bent and the feet planted on the mat. And go ahead and scoot up just a little bit. We want plenty of space behind us to roll down on our mat, or whatever you're working on here. So what's gonna happen is the right leg's, go ahead for now, take the hands behind the thighs. The right leg will extend, and we're just gonna keep these thighs in alignment here. And so what's gonna happen is, think of a seated boat. So you're gonna start to lean yourself back, and I'm gonna help you through this one. So pelvis is tilting slightly forward, and we're leaning it back here. So yes, these thighs are in alignment. So rather going into that tuck and that round, we're keeping that pelvis tilting forward, so we're kind of on top of those sits bones here, not directly on top. We're leaning back into it, low belly and up. So we're lengthening all 4 sides of the torso. Lengthen up here, through the sides, and through the whole spine, holding those natural curves. Now you can keep the hands behind you, or maybe reach forward. Inhale. We're gonna exhale, tuck the pelvis, scoop the core. We're rolling all the way down onto our back. Holding this leg here so that hip flexor is firing up. As it holds that leg up, we're gonna keep those thighs in alignment here. And then we'll inhale at the bottom. The arms can go up overhead or stay above the shoulders here. Exhale, breath and core. We're gonna roll it up 1 piece at a time, and we're gonna try to come back to that more seated boat. So tilt that pelvis slightly forward, open up. So we're in that hinge. Inhale, exhale, tuck the pelvis, scoop the core, fingertips reach forward. As that core, that T-point pulls in, deeper scoop here. 1 more up, then we'll switch. Exhale, curl it up 1 piece at a time. I want you to pause in that single leg boat variation here. Now let's hold it here. So we're actually gonna do 1 more thing. So keep the legs straight. You're gonna tuck the pelvis, scoop the core, round it back like a boat crunch. So start to lean halfway back. So tuck and round. So that's the exhale. Inhale, you're gonna come back up. And then exhale, round it back. Inhale, come up. You can bend this leg if you need on the way up. Exhale, round it back. Do we feel that core? Inhale, bring it up. 1 more. Exhale, breath. Tuck and lean back. Inhale, bring it up. Good. Go ahead, plant the feet. Round over the legs here. Just take a stretch. Woohoo! We just had that second side, and we're done here. So let's keep it up. Keep it up. Hopefully you're feeling those abdominals here. That was my goal of today. So we are going to take it to the other side. So we'll take the hands behind the thighs, lean it back, and let that left leg extend so thighs are in alignment. And so we're in that hinge back, not that tuck and round. So feel the pelvis slightly tilt forward, all four sides of the torso growing out of our pelvis. So there's that string at the back of the head lengthening you up. So we'll inhale. Oh, and reach forward, of course. Exhale, tug that pelvis, scoop that core. And for those of you at home, of course, if you need to plant that foot down as a modification, that's fine, or keep it lifted here. Inhale, exhale, ha, breath and core working together to push the vertebra off. Try to go right into that hinge. Pelvis tilts forward, lean back away from the leg. Yes, that boat. Inhale, exhale, tug the pelvis, scoop out the core. We're rolling it down. We're almost there, everyone. You can do it. Great job. Inhale at the bottom, the ribs close. This is it. Exhale, ha, breath, pushing that vertebra off one piece at a time. We grow up here. Yes, now slightly lean back. Now we're going to do the boat crunches. We'll tuck the pelvis, scoop the core, and round it back. So tuck and round, and then lift it back up. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, lift it back up. If you need to bend the knee there, you can. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, pick it back up. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, pick it back up. Let's do one more. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, pick it back up. Plant the foot down, round it over those legs here. We're going to take a couple breaths. So take a nice big inhale. Exhale, release. And one more inhale. And exhale, release. Good. Let's take the hands behind the hips so the fingertips are pointing in. We're just going to take a couple stretches here, and we're going to lift up those hips to a little reverse tabletop. This is going to help stretch open our core, stretch open the front of the hips. You can keep that chin level. You can relax the head back if that doesn't bother the neck here. We'll just take a nice inhale. Exhale. One more inhale to lift the hips an inch. And as we exhale, we'll slowly lower those legs down here. We'll do one more stretch here. Let's do a nice little butterfly. Let's glue the feet together, and then you can just take a little round here. So you can nod the chin into the chest, round it down one piece at a time. We'll take a couple breaths here. Nice inhale. Exhale, release. And one more inhale. Exhale, release. And then we'll slowly come up. And if there's any other stretch you want to get out here, you can lay on your back, do some twists, or maybe some cobra stretches on your belly. Just whatever you need here. Try showing you a nice twist, which you can take on both sides. Of course, if there's a certain stretch calling out to you, you're welcome to go into it. You cool down however you like here. And that's the last stretch we'll show you guys. Of course, keep stretching if you don't feel cooled down enough quite yet or stretched out enough. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got that core fired up, and thank you for joining.